It's Ron G. Holland again with this week's Smash It and Grab It. Now, I'm sure I've told you this before. I can't imagine I haven't told you this before. But the biggest secret ever to do with self-help is that people don't do it. They read about the visualization and they talk about the affirmations and they kid themselves, but the biggest secret is they don't really do it. They don't program their minds at a cellular level. They don't plug in the programs. They don't visualize hard enough. They don't set goals. They don't get into the mind power. There's too many big goals they set. They're gonna get 100 million. They're gonna buy a skyscraper. They're gonna buy their own jet. What you got to do is set some smaller goals that you actually accomplish to prove to yourself you can get your biocomputer working. That's the secret. And every day visualize and meditate and become a mind power person. Remember, the biggest secret to do with self-help is that people don't do it. And people give up too quickly. They start the visualization thinking they're going to get £1 million or a Ferrari, but they stop doing it because nothing happens. You've got to keep on with it, and then the money will come flooding in, heaped up, pressed down and flooding over, right? But you've got to do it. Realize one realistic goal at a time till you get your mind working and start accomplishing things. I want to tell you a little story that I know you're going to find humorous, and it's about the old American couple that came over to the UK to rediscover their roots, and they found themselves up in Norfolk and they were looking at some old gravestones. And they didn't realise the church backed onto a railway siding, and they heard the noise of hissing steam and everything, and they went over to investigate, and they found an old-fashioned steam train that was in the siding. There was a little bit of smoke coming out the chimney and oil steam dripping onto the track. They'd never seen a steam train before because, being Americans, they got these big Amtrak chains, electro diesels, but there was this steam train there, and the woman looked at it and she couldn't believe it, and she was saying to her husband, she said, "What do you think, honey?" So the guy took one look at this steam train and he wasn't impressed at all. He could see little bits of steam coming out of them, dripping on the track with oil, little bit of smoke coming out of the window, and it was all hissing and puffing. And he said, "It'll never start. It'll never start." You see, but this American couple, you see, they didn't understand steam trains. Now, on every steam train, you have a fireman who's stoking up the boilers, putting on the coal, dialing up the dials, more coal, putting on the coal, building up a nice head of steam, and suddenly this massive steam train came to life, and suddenly there's massive great flywheels belting back and forward, smoke coming out, steam. It was a frightening experience. It was the old American couple jumped back. The little old lady, she jumped up in the air. She says, "What do you think now, honey?" And he looked at her and he looked at this steam train and he said, "It'll never stop." The reason why I tell you the story is you got to keep programming your mind over and over and over again at a cellular level until you get the program in there, and then you'll start getting the ideas, the hunches, the inspirations, and your mind will never stop, and you'll never go back to being an ordinary person. You'll be a mind power person making things happen in your life. So remember, you think it's never going to start, but once you get the programs in there, it's never going to stop. See you next week on Smash It and Grab It. Bye. I'm looking good, aren't I? All dressed up, no place to go, got the hair, the toilet water behind the ears. Listen, you're meant to be the bloody fashion police. Look, there's hair there, look. Not a rabbit, it was a hare. He doesn't again.
Black Roman, all this.
Okay.